Hey, what's up, dudes? Check out the new axe. I swear this is the last one. But, well, the last one you've seen. You know, I've got other ones you haven't seen, but this is the last one I've purchased. You know, this has got to end. But you know, it was just one of those things where I saw it out there used. It's one of those Ibanez Prestige. It's Prestige, biatch. Ibanez Prestige. It's the 3120, the RG series, 3120. Mahogany body with a nice AAA flame maple cap. They stain the top, but they don't stain the side, so it kind of looks like a binding. Kind of pretty cool. Rosewood fingerboard, maple neck, beautiful maple neck. And it was really pretty cheap from what I had seen for other instruments of the same model number. You know, the 3120, you know, was definitely a few hundred more than what they had it listed for. So when it showed up, it sort of became apparent why, because on the back here there was like a pretty serious dent, and you know, I'm sure they felt that dent and they were like, you know, it doesn't look it right now because I steamed it out, but at the time it was quite the nick. It was pretty deep. It's got another real bad one right here, another pretty bad one here. It's kind of chipped up all over a little bit. You know, whoever had it didn't take super good care of it, but you know what, it's in, relative to my guitars, which are really beat up, you know, it's in pretty good shape. I really can't, you know, complain. It's an outstanding guitar. It's like one of the best Ibanez's I've ever played. It's really heavy because of the mahogany body and the maple. That really puts some weight to it. It's super balanced. I love the sort of the offset, you know, inlays, the abalone inlays, and the neck is beautiful. I steamed the dent out. I don't know if you've ever done that, but basically you just take people use a number of different mediums, but I like to use terry cloth face cloth. So I like, the terry cloth is thick, it has some cushion to it, and it's designed to hold water. So I like to take that and then, you know, just squeeze out the excess water, so it's pretty heavily damp. You know, you don't want to wring out all the water by any means. You need to have it pretty damp. And I like to start with warm water, so I'm already ahead of the game in terms of temperature, and then I'll heat up the soldering iron really warm, and then I'll, you know, get the warm face cloth, and once the soldering iron is at its like peak after about a good 15 minutes, you put that over the dent, and then you lay the solder. I like to take the cloth and just fold it over, so I have two layers, and I'll just sneak it over the edge of the dent, and then I'll put the soldering iron on it, and it will sizzle and steam, and all that will happen. And then you look at it and put it back, and look at it a little bit and put it back, because you don't want to leave it too long. I'd be worried about burning the wood. Soldering iron, you know, in another box says wood burner. So soldering irons definitely will burn wood. They definitely get hot enough. So in one box it'll say soldering iron, another box it'll say like wood burner, and they're designed slightly differently, but they're essentially the exact same item, so they can definitely get up to temperature, especially a 40 watt or higher. So you put it on it sizzles, it steams, and take it off, put it back, put it back. But then after a while, and it takes a good like 5 or 10 minutes, the dent will start to lift out. Mine took a while because, number one, it's maple, which is a pretty dense wood. Number two, there's a finish over most of it. If the finish was over all of it, it wouldn't really work because I can't steam through the finish. But this finish was cracked. The dent was deep enough that it cracked all around the edge and it cracked through the middle of it. So I had quite a lot of openings to get the steam down into the dent, and then steamed it, and then I let it, you know, go a day and you know, see what happened. And then I did a second treatment, and boy, that second treatment really just that really brought it out. I'd say it's, like a friend of mine said, it went from a dent to a nick. He said it's really been, you know, transformed. You still feel it a little bit, but I'll get a little bit of gunstock oil, which is a really good neck finish if you don't want to spray it with polyurethane or, you know, anything. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to use like wipe on poly or anything. It'll never edge up right. The best thing to do is just put a little gunstock oil on it. It should match up in color and be fairly clean. But at any rate, I love the guitar. It's easily, you know, one of the nicest Ibanez guitars I've ever played, and it's not wired like the standard 3120. It's actually, the guys got it wired quite differently. It's supposed to be in the back pickup, and position number 2, it's supposed to be this in parallel instead of series, and then here would be, I think it's like either both pickups or two coils. Could be 2 coils, and then you know, I think it's both pickups, and then here it's 2 coils, right? The 2 center coils, one north coil and one south to make a humbucker, and then here it's the front humbucker. I think that's the standard Ibanez, you know, layout for this. But this guy has it wired. Whoever owned it before it has it humbucker, which is standard. But here it goes to the split, which is interesting. Here it's this pickup and that coil there, just this coil. So this pickup and that coil. Here it's this pickup, and here it's that coil. So they coil cut it. So you get a single, you know, coil sound. Versus the humbucker. It's a lot more mid-range, a lot more bite. But I actually like the way it's wired. I actually prefer it this way. I'm pretty stoked that whoever wired it this way. According to the schematics, now maybe they did wire it this way one year. I have no idea. But when I look online and I look at the breakdown of a number of different schematics on there, they always show the same thing. Though that first one I showed you, I've never seen this particular breakdown. He probably wanted a single coil up front, and then they just, you know, figured out how to do it. But this is the front pickup here. Love that sound. And here it is in the single coil. You can hear the hum kick in. So I'm really digging this guitar. Here we go. So, you know, I've loved the RG. I've owned an RG since they literally first came out. I was jamming with a buddy, and we stopped at the music store to get like strings or something, and they were unpacking the boxes. I'm like, what the hell is this? And they're like, oh, these are all the new Ibanez guitars. And one was the RG560 that I still have. I think it's in one of my videos with the I put EMGs in it at some point, but I scalloped the neck on it because, you know, that's what all the kids were doing back then. But what is that? I think that's my air conditioner. The you know, the guitar, I just love the shape of it, the play of it. I fell in love with it that day. I totally took it home. I've loved it ever since. I just think it's like one of the best designs. You know, you just think people are out of designs, and all of a sudden the RG comes out, and I loved it, you know. And this is probably one of the nicest, you know, RGs you can get. You know, certainly up there. So I was just stoked to, you know, to get one. And again, if it was even like $1 more, I would have skipped it. But you know, it was just so cheap, I just could not resist. So anyway, that's this guitar. I'm running Guitar Rig 5 again. I sort of been stuck on Guitar Rig 5 last couple of videos. This is the Overstacked patch, one of my favorite patches. It's called Overstacked, patch number 56 in the new and GR5. I don't really modify the GR5 patches all that much, very little. So this is a completely stock patch. I think GR5 does a really good job handling like pick harmonics, I mean dynamics. I really love the neck on it. I just, you know, and the other thing you notice is, and I don't think any of my other guitars have this attention to detail, the frets are just so beautifully milled. You know, and yeah, I haven't seen the guitar with that attention to detail in a long time. You know, maybe my Larrabee acoustic, which is a pretty nice guitar. Anyway, that's it. The Prestige. This is the last one. It's got to be. You know, this is marked 01 now, but I know this was only available, according to the website, in 2002. DR, Deep Red. That's what she is. I want one like in every color now. It's like I want the antique violin, and I want the what was the TW? Teal something, I forget now. Trans something. forget, but the blue one. I like the blue and the black and the, of course, the antique violin. Just as, you know, beautiful looking instrument. Yeah, and they got some weight to them. You know, that mahogany body. Alright guys, have a good night. We'll see ya. Rock on.